start off by asking you how you got started in this business. I mean, you're doing so many things. You have like self-help books, you have a podcast, you have comedy specials. I mean, you're a jack of all trades, but like, where did it all start? Like, because everything has a beginning, you know?
That's true. My origin story, as they would say. I mean, I started acting and singing when I was really young, at 3 years old, because I would not stop. But I will say entertaining my family. So they were like, let's just see if she can get an agent. So I started really young, and it just adapted over the years, you know, like I feel like the way to survive in this industry is to not be afraid to try stuff and not be afraid to put yourself out there in a variety of areas. And I'm sure somebody would disagree with me, but I just love doing all kinds of different projects and seeing what happens with them. Because I feel like we could have a lot of downtime in this industry, or we could keep seeing what happens and take a little bit of control over our destiny, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
Try.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, and you've taken huge control of your future and the possibilities that surround you. Again, like I said, you have so many projects going on. So I want to ask, like, can you tell us a little bit about these projects that you're working on currently? Any upcoming projects? Obviously, if there's some hush hush ones, I won't get you in trouble unless you want to. But
yeah, get me in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. No, like, yeah, I'm always working on. I mean, lately I've been doing a ton of stand up. Now that the world is semi-open, but not at the same time.
Right.
Like it just looks differently. So I've been doing a lot of stand-up. I've been doing a lot of festival stand-up work. I have been doing these comedic meditations that I've been putting out there. Because I think that self-help should be fun too, and honest, and you should laugh. So I've been putting those out. And then my podcasts are all coming back, you know, Serial Killer, which is true crime and breakfast cereal paired together, is coming back. And You Can't Do That Anymore, which explores classics of our past, but we discuss like what you can't do anymore and should it be canceled. Spoiler alert, we don't really cancel anything, but we do think that we should learn from things. You know? So that's, you know, definitely those are projects that are coming out. And I just did Screamfest, which was awesome because I was in this crazy short film called Demon Juice about a girls' weekend that goes crazy wild with demonic possession. So I'm very proud of that one.
I'm gonna have to check the one out. Supernatural horror is probably the one that gets me the most. I don't know what it is. It's like those ghosts popping out.
I know, and it's scary, and and this one's funny, but also like I feel like there's something about a girls' weekend that resonates with a lot of women out there that are it can go great, it can go bad. And this has those elements for sure.
Speaking of, that's a really good pivot. I want to talk about your position as a woman of color in geekdom, in fandom, in pop culture. You know, it's always the the type of people who always have a comment about like inclusivity or diversity. But I feel like nowadays, diversity, inclusion, they're topics that are being talked about a lot more and taken a lot more seriously than I would say even like 20 years ago, even though I was 3 years old, so I can't really speak much to 20 years ago. But yeah, so I just want to talk to you. What is it like, I guess, occupying that space in such a strong way? You know, like you have a lot of people who see you on screen and can see you doing something geeky or something really, really cool, or like a horror movie, right? And they're going, oh, that's cool. There's a woman of color in this project, you know? So what is that like to you, being part of such an important and big discussion in this space?
I mean, I think the conversation has changed so much since I've always been a nerd. And it's great that these conversations and the acceptance of this, of people of color and of women in geekdom is so much different than when I was a teenager and was completely and totally teased about it. It's great that it's popular, and it's great that we can have open discussions, and it's great that we can see people like us on screen. We can see people create from different backgrounds instead of one storyline of what a superhero or what horror looks like. And I just am so ecstatic that I can be part of creating that and or being part of that in any way. And that I can talk about it without being like, ugh, you're such a nerd. I am. I 100% am. And I still get that. I still get that, but at the same time, like being a nerd and it's not the same connotation anymore. It's like, you know, and I am like, I will forever be the person that, said I wasn't going to marry you. I was going to marry the Crypt Keeper or Wolverine on the playground. That's me forever. Yeah,
absolutely. That's me too. That's me today, honestly.
Same.
Why go into the dating game? I can just marry my favorite Star Trek character, right? Like, come on.
Yeah, I've tried for years. It hasn't worked out.
No? Hey, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. You got it. So what did you like? What are some geeky things that you gravitated towards as you were growing up? Like, what was your niche?
So Star Trek was big in my family. Because my parents were both big civil rights activists, obviously, because they got married in the 60s when it was illegal in 11 states for a Black and white couple to be together. Star Trek means a lot to especially interracial families because it's so groundbreaking. And I don't think a lot of people give it enough credit. So Star Trek was definitely huge in my family. It was definitely something my father was like, this is our lane. We love Star Trek. We love James Bond. So that was our family nerddom. Me personally, it was into horror, and I was always like scared, but always wanted to see it. Like from a very young age. I think like the first horror movie I saw was like Pet Sematary. Should not have seen it. Really, really young. I think my sister was on a date or something and she took me, and I watched it while she was on her date. But yeah, so horror, I was always a Wolverine fan. Yeah. Always, like I just love an anti-hero. And let's see what else. Oh, I can't not mention the fact that She-Ra is always my everything.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird because I love Skeletor so much. At the same time, I want to be She-Ra in a weird relationship with Skeletor. There's probably some therapy for that.
Hey. There's about 1 million different jokes I can make, but I don't know if they're appropriate, so I'll keep them. I'll keep them under wraps. That's cool though. That's funny because I actually got introduced to horror the same way with Pet Sematary at a very, very young age. My cousins just showed it to me because they were like, "It's a good movie. You should watch it." And I'm here at like 8 years old, like, I don't know. I don't think my mom would be okay with this, but let's do it.
No, it definitely gave me a phobia.
Yeah.
I can't even say the name of the little kid slices a certain area on a person's body, and I can't even say the word anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's so gross. That one forever shook me.
Yeah. Oh man. So what are some have you seen any new horror movies recently? Did you see like Malignant or anything?
I tweeted so much about Malignant because it was the greatest thing to ever happen to me.
Oh my God.
It was so good. I was like, I've never felt this good after a movie in my life. I wanted to like run out. It was like how I feel every time I see V for Vendetta or read the comic book. I'm like, I can take over the world. I did that. Like that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I was feeling great. I also saw Halloween Kills a couple days ago too. So yeah, I mean, but Malignant.
Malignant was incredible.
Yeah, it was everything. It was corny. It was I don't know, gross at the same time as, as being like Matrix badass. It was everywhere and every emotion at the same time.
Right. It definitely leads you on a roller coaster for sure.
And I was in. I don't know. And at first I wasn't sure, like, is he in on the joke or am I just, and now I'm like, okay, that he intended this to be that way. Cool.
Yeah. There's no way something like this was an accident. Like you can't come across that like that.
I'm so glad we're both in on the joke. That's all.
Halloween Kills have me feeling like I could beat up Michael Myers. I'm not gonna lie. Like I probably wouldn't win, but like the way, especially these new movies, the way they show like Laurie and her family and like the kind of one-ups they kind of get on him, I'm like, yeah, okay, if it's that easy, I could get some licks in before I'm done, Yeah,
a Real Housewives survived, so
right.
I think I'm gonna be okay. I don't know, like he's always like he's never been the monster that scared me the most of all like the big bads.
Well, it's a guy in a William Shatner mask. It's not
and I am.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Right, I think that's also it. Yeah, like that's also like I'm like that's William Shatner. He's not that scary. But like I also am a fan of like the Rob Zombie movies, and I know that I like hardcore Halloween fans like hate me for saying this, but I do because I liked the exploration of like what kind of evil he was and whatever. And I know that's not the point, that he's supposed to be just pure evil incarnate, but I loved humanizing him, and I guess that's not a popular idea. So, but I mean, like, to me, Freddy Krueger will always be the ultimate scary. Like, there's nothing more terrifying than Freddy Krueger to me.
Oh, yeah.
So when they redid that, I did feel a certain way, and I had to apologize to my Halloween fans, like friends that were like hardcore Halloween fans. I'm like, I know how you feel now. I get it. Right. I still don't. But I get it.
I understand. Still love the movies, but I understand. I get it.
Right. They touched my baby, and now I know. But like, I know how you feel, but at the same time,
man, Freddy Krueger. I don't know. I couldn't. That's the one I just couldn't get away from. Like, I like to sleep. I'm sorry. I think maybe after day 3, that's it. Like, I'm just willfully giving myself over. Like, I need that rest.
No, see, I think I would fight it. I'm an insomniac anyway. I'd be like, we're cool. We're gonna book on tape this for eternity.
You're just chilling in a coffee shop, drinking some coffee. Fred's just like,
yes,
you gotta sleep sometime. You're like,
nope. I'm gonna watch Rick and Morty and what we do in the shadows.
He's just gonna get bored. He's like, you know what? I'm going to someone else. I'm going somewhere else.
I'm just gonna time him out.
right. Run the clock. Yeah. So I wanted to ask your opinion on a pretty heavy thing going on right now, like in the gaming space, because I'm a huge gamer since I was a kid. When my dad put a PlayStation controller in my hand, it was like, go off, son, and that's just how it's been since then. And so I want to ask, like, all this stuff that's been going on with like Activision and Take-Two and these big industries, these big companies in the industry. All the stories coming out about like worker abuse and like the CEOs kind of like almost washing it away with these statements and stuff. What are your thoughts on that? Like we said before, like we've come a long way in terms of geekdom and like nerdy culture, but it still feels like there's still like, again, that specific minority, but very loud minority of people who don't really want to like share the toy basket,
Yeah. Well, I think so many industries are going through this right now. They're going through a shakeup where we're allowed to talk about things that we weren't allowed to before. And so much change is happening, which is beautiful and amazing and also painful as hell, and I can see it in so many of my friends that are going through this in different modes in different industries. And I just think it's such a crazy, amazing time to be alive, to be able to speak up and to be able to try to make these changes. But at the same time, gosh, that's so much pressure. And I just think we have to be there for each other, and we have to like start believing each other's stories, and also have empathy. Like I'm a big, let's have empathy. and let's figure out what the solution is for everyone to be heard and respected. I think it's just a respect aspect that we're lacking in a lot of industries, and empathy. And you know, there's room. I think there's room for us all. I think that's the thing. Like, I think people are trying to like covet these positions and these roles and stuff like that. And I think it's such a better place when we hear from so many different voices, and there's room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a generic blanket for so many industries right now. Like, I can see that to a lot of different industries. Right?
It's like, come on, there's room.
There's room. Just there's room, and it's great. It's so much better when you hear from different sides, and when it's not just one narrative. It's really powerful.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. I 100% agree. I'm gonna drink some water real quick. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna drink from mine as well.
Wow. I've always wanted one of those big hydro flasks, but I'm like, I don't know where I would carry it along with me and stuff. And I know if I just, because I swing like Shaggy with my arms, and I feel like I'll just hit a toddler on the way down and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I sometimes like forget if he's a water bottle. I named him Luther after Idris Elba's character, and I sometimes rock him, and I'm like, that's not a baby, that's your water bottle. Stop that.
No, that's your baby. That's Luther's.
That is my baby.
Right. So, what have you been up to recently? Like, have you been watching any shows? I know we're kind of open, but like, I feel like a lot of people are still like in that. We're still sitting at home, like catching up on stream shows and movies and stuff. Have you been checking out any of the Marvel stuff or any of the stuff HBO Max has been putting out?
I've been all over. I feel like the streaming networks. I feel like, you know, I'm getting that. Are you still watching? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, stop. Like, stop doing that. I've been watching a lot of like What We Do in the Shadows. I love What We Do in the Shadows. I have been watching a lot of horror films that are coming out around this time. I finished Ted Lasso, which was very important for everybody to like. Everyone's like, have you finished it? And I was like, finally I finished it, leave me alone now. And also Squid Game. I mean, come on, Squid Game.
Oh my God. That show grabbed onto me in a way I was not expecting, to be honest, to be 100% honest.
I will say that I am a fan of that kind of, can I say genre? Like, sure, like the genre, like the battle royale type, you know, like I am a battle royale fan, so like it has very like reminiscence of that. I heard a coffee shop in downtown is actually doing that competition with a cookie. One of my friends won like $40 doing the cookie cookie
really?
challenge with the umbrella, and I'm like, I need to do that. But what if I fail?
Yeah, like what happens if you lose? I need to know everything before I sign up for this event, please.
Because, you know, obviously, if you watch the Squid Games, you know you need to read all the fine prints about everything. Right. It really taught us that lesson. But yeah, I think I'm obsessed with that. Like, I'm obsessed with like, is there going to be a season 2? I know it's probably going to happen, but I'm just like that is and it's Halloween, so now I'm watching all the Halloween baking shows because that's who I am. That's my sports. My sports, you know, like people scream at the screen when they're watching sports. I scream at the screen when I'm watching baking shows. I'm very intensely into it, and nobody should be around me when I'm watching them.
No, now I have to watch a baking show again. I'm imagining horrible. Like someone dropping their cake and you going, come on.
Yeah.
You had it right.
It's even worse. It's worse. It's like, oh, you're gonna make a souffle in this 20 minutes? God!
Okay, but that's ridiculous. Like in 20 minutes, come on. No, I'm right there screaming with you. Like,
right?
Come on, people.
Right? You're not going to have a citrus element? Come on! It's very
That's
bad.
Cool. That's awesome.
It's horrible.
Did you check out the any of the DC fandom stuff that just happened this past weekend?
Yes, I did. My girl Tiffany Smith was on some stuff, so I'm always supporting my girl. So anything she does, I'm like, that's my girl.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I'm a more Marvel girl than I'm a DC, but I am a Tiffany Smith DC fan. She's my girl.
I got the Batman t-shirt on right here. I got the DC fandom beanie, but don't let that confuse you. I'm Marvel like 95% of the way, but like,
yeah, I get it.
Batman. Come on.
I am excited. Like, I know people were so hateful at first, and like when they first announced it, like, and I was like, denial of him as a talent when he played Cedric Diggory is ridiculous.
Thank you.
Ridiculous. He has got it.
People were like, oh, after Twilight, he did some pretty good projects. I'm like, actually, during Twilight, a little bit before, I think he did probably the best project of his career. So, just saying. But
it was funny because I there's these apartment buildings in LA they used to be called the Oakwood Apartments, and he used to live at them. And I used to be kind of like, I had a relative that lived there. And right when he was about to be Twilight, I was like sitting by the pool, and this guy like dunks his head in and shakes his hair. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and then I look up and he's like, oh, I am so sorry, in his British accent, which I'm not going to. And he goes, I'm like, oh my God, you're Cedric Diggory. And he's like, yeah, and I'm going to be in these new movies. I was like, yeah, I don't care. You're Cedric Diggory. He was like, all right, lady. I was like, you're forgiven. You're forgiven.
Right. You can do anything you want to be. You're Cedric Diggory.
I'm not going to yell at you.
Right.
You're Cedric Diggory.
Oh, that's funny. He's like, dang, that's the role she remembers me from. But come on, yeah, of course.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit about diving back more into your own career. These comedic self-help books, because that's such an interesting concept. And you're right, like self-help doesn't always need to be so. I don't want to say glum or down, but like I feel like a lot of elements in comedy can help with self-help, just laughing at the world or laughing at yourself, so I want to dive a little more into those projects. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently writing the first book, and I'm slowly releasing the meditations for free right now, so you can listen to those. And I just think that, like, I think we need to be able to laugh. I think we need to be able to, like, genuinely listen to each other. And I think the best way to genuinely listen to people is through laughter, is through comedy. It's what I try to do on my stand-up. And that's what I'm going to try to do with every like self-help element that I implement. And from now on, it's because I think, growing up biracial, there was a lot of tough conversations that happened, very young for me. And I think the best way that was presented to me was with love and lightheartedness, and not that none of this stuff is serious, or not that this stuff isn't important, but there's a way to present things that allows for conversation to move more freely. I think that when you feel comfortable enough to laugh about pain or laugh about situations, the more you can actually talk about it. I think that's an important thing for everybody to kind of learn. And that's what I hope comes out of like the meditations and the work and the book and all that, is just conversations that may be hard, but at least are like open.
Right.
I feel like we close ourselves off and we get so intense, and it's just like a little bit of a breath before we can have these conversations is so much better. And I think it's kinder, and it comes from a place of love. At least that's the goal. That's the goal.
That's amazing. That's awesome. No,
Um,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, like in my stand up, I do this a lot. I tell a lot of different stories that could be considered painful. Like I always tell people, like, I'm okay, so you can laugh at this. Let's laugh at this and explore how that makes you feel, and how, if you've seen this, and how, like, I think we can have a better understanding of each other if you can see that I'm okay and I can find something funny and something good that came out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, your shows are very, very embedded with like self-care and like self-reflection. They're very personal. That's why I love your stand-up.
Thank you.
Are you currently on tour right now? Are you going on tour soon? Are you coming to Boston? That's a personal question.
I would love to. I have friends in Boston that I've, like, we haven't seen each other since before the pandemic. So like, I would love to. So Boston, let me know. I'll come out. Yeah. Right now I've been doing like a lot of Los Angeles and Bay Area. It's probably in November. But LA, I'm all over the place. Like tonight I'm at Dave & Buster's. The greatest video games and stand up. Yes, I'm so excited. People are like, you're playing Dave & Buster's, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know why you're upset. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of LA shows. I'm always constantly adding shows. So if you're like on social media, and you can, I'm always updating. I'm still doing some virtual shows. Like there's still a lot of virtual shows too. So that's always nice because you get different audiences from all over. And yeah, I hope to be going to other cities outside of California soon. So if you guys know or want to book me, you know where to find me, social media.
Hey, I'll spread the word around Boston for sure. I'll get them talking.
Yes. I would love that. I love Boston.
It's a great city. I just moved here like 2 months ago, but it's cold. It's really cold.
Yeah, you moved at a cold time. It's going to get rougher for you a little bit.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, you better buckle up, with a full smile on their face as they're telling me about that winter is coming, essentially, like some Jon Snow stuff. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I mean, I like cold, says the Los Angeles native, but I love cold. So I love cold places like Boston. It's awesome.
As the Arizona mover, I'm still defrosting a little bit, but I'm sure I'll get used to the cold at some point.
That's what whiskey's for. It really warms your soul.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit more about your serial killer podcast? Because I haven't listened to it, but my sister listens to it because she is big on serial killers. Like she'll wake up in the morning and tell me a fact. And when I told her I was interviewing, she's like, that's the girl from the podcast I listen to.
Oh my God. I love that.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with true. I mean, I think most women are obsessed with true crime, let's be honest. And me and my friend, we were doing another podcast that's no more called One More Drink. And we were like, you love serial killers? I love serial killers. Let's do a serial killer thing. So basically what we do is we try to pair true crime with a breakfast cereal. We rate the breakfast cereal and also try to justify why we've paired it with the true crime, which is always the most fun because we don't do it well. We try. And then we talk about the true crime. And we try to do it with, with empathy and with care, because a lot of these people come from a variety of backgrounds and may have a variety of issues. And hopefully we do that in a way. So yeah, like I love talking about true crime. We're about to go into our next season. And I'm super excited about that. My co-host has been on the East Coast during the pandemic and is coming back. So I'm super excited for that. Cause we've been trying serials via Zoom. Which is an interesting thing. But yeah, like every week we try a new cereal, which you would be shocked how many cereals there are out there. We keep doing it. We haven't repeated one yet. We haven't even repeated one. So yeah. surprisingly.
I'm curious to see how like Jack the Ripper and like Fruit Loops come together.
How we justify that? Yeah, it's hard. It's real hard.
I'm curious. Like, I'm definitely gonna listen.
We're actually gonna do one about the Zodiac killer because he well, there's debate, but he probably got caught, but he's dead. But anyway, and we're both gonna bring a cereal and not tell the other person and try to justify why we brought that cereal for the Zodiac killer. So we'll see if that makes any sense. If and how to justify that. But I bought mine already, and I'm not going to tell her what it is. She's just going to have to.
She's going to have to find out.
But if we bring the same one, it's going to be pretty funny.
That's going to be hilarious.
I'm like hoping for that so bad.
Man, I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I got to give that one a listen when it comes out.
Only if you're into true crime, you know, like I got it.
I mean, I'm into cereal, so this will probably get me into true crime, you know?
Oh, okay, cool. You can listen to the first 15 minutes where we talk about cereal.
Cool. I'll try it. I'll listen to it, pause it, go get that cereal, because you got to have the listening experience. Like, you got to eat along, you know?
Yeah, I've been wanting to do an eat along forever. I feel like that would be the best. Like, sing-alongs, sure. Eat along?
That would be amazing. A whole a stadium full of people all with a bowl just ready to...
I'm ready for that.
Now. Yeah. All right, Anastasia. Well, that is my time with you. Got to go do other boring stuff. But this was so fun. This is amazing to talk to you. I definitely want to talk again. Can I just get you to like say your projects one more time, just for people?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, people can follow me at Anastasia W on Twitter and TikTok, and Anastasia Wash on Instagram, where you can find most of the stuff. Also, my podcast, Serial Killer, at Pod Serial Killer, and my stand-up all over the place. The meditations are also online at Anastasia TV.
Cool. All right. Thank you again so much, Anastasia. It was awesome talking to you.
Great talking to you. Have a good day and keep warm.
I'm trying my hardest.
Movies and TV, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.